Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News. I am your host, Kim, back with another episode of Unpopular Opinions, my weekly show where I break down all of the top Bravo news you need to know and, of course, give my opinions on it all.
That's my opinion!
If I had to give this week's headlines a theme, it would definitely be legal news. I feel like I'm a lawyer at this point, a lawyer and a storyteller, to quote Craig Conover, because the legal hits, the legal stories, the lawsuits, the arrests, the fraud charges, they just keep coming. They will not stop. And the further I dig deeper into these stories, the more I'm kind of becoming like a self-proclaimed legal expert. So anyway, I'm going to get into all of the updates you guys need to know, as well as some housewives updates. But before I dive in, you guys know what to do. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more Bravo breaking news. And if you are listening as a podcast, please drop us a review, rate us 5 stars. We love to see it. And I always appreciate your guys' support. Okay, let's start off with an update on the biggest story that we've had for the last couple weeks, and that is, of course, Wendy and Eddie Osefo, because they have finally broken their silence on Instagram with some posts that are seeming, I don't know, a little fishy if you ask me. Okay, so first of all, after last week's news of the arrest, not only did Wendy's episode of Wife Swap get pulled from Bravo, but she actually got fired from her teaching job or let go, depending on who you ask. In a post posted by Bravo and Cocktails, they said Wesleyan University removes Wendy Osefo from teaching role after fraud arrest. She joined the university in fall 2024 and was teaching a course on reality television and social issues. An email from the director of Wesleyan confirmed that Osefo would no longer be teaching the course and that Associate Professor Courtney Patterson-Fay would take over for the rest of the semester. The university has not issued a public statement on Osefo's status. Now, it has been confirmed that Wendy did lose her job at this university, but new reports are saying that she actually resigned from the position. But I'm calling bullshit on this one. I don't think that Wendy resigned due to her own decision. I think the university forced her to resign. You know, it's kind of like those housewives that are like, oh, I chose to leave the show. No, you didn't choose to leave the show. Bravo is, giving you the opportunity to say that you left the show and to kind of put it in your own words, when in reality, you were fired and we all know it. This comes as no surprise. I think the opportunities are just going to keep getting pulled from Wendy. The hits are going to just keep coming because let's be real, nobody wants to be associated with this woman at this point. But we finally heard from Wendy and Eddie in their own words in 2 separate Instagram posts just this weekend. Wendy posted a picture of her with a caption that says, "And through it all, God remains faithful. Thank you for the outpouring of love, support, and prayers for myself and most importantly, my family during this time. We are forever grateful. Tune in to Bravo TV tonight for a new episode of Real Housewives of Potomac." And then Eddie posts a family photo with the caption, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your path straight." I'm sorry, but I bet God is up in heaven right now being like, why am I in this? I'm sorry. Okay, I know when you're going through difficult times, praying, a lot of people lean on praying, and I support that 100%. However, this is giving like you are proclaiming your innocence. It's giving Karen Huger in the DUI case. Like, does Wendy actually want to be Karen Huger? First, Karen does a 3-wick candle. Then Wendy does a 3-wick candle. Then Karen goes to jail. And then we have Wendy going to jail. And then Karen, we have proclaiming her innocence when there is all of this evidence stacked against her that there is no question that she did get a DUI and could have injured other people. Same with Wendy. I feel like there is a lot of evidence stacked up against them in this case, yet she continues to proclaim her innocence. There are too many similarities between these women. It's getting a little weird, to quote Nene Leakes again, and I don't know. I just feel like if Wendy and Eddie's story this entire time is going to be like, all will work out, all will be right in the world, we didn't do anything wrong, thanks for all the love and support, I don't know. Once again, I'm not buying it. I'm calling bullshit on this because when you look at the facts, when you look at the evidence, the court case, everything that came out last week that I read about on this show, It is very clear that something fishy went on here. I don't think that there is really any room for mistakes or errors. I don't know. Of course, it's innocent until proven guilty. So we will see how this all plays out. But at this point, there is too much evidence stacked up for them to be, pretending they're innocent in all of this. I don't think we have a court date or anything involving this case, but do know that I will be here to update you guys on everything. Okay, let's jump from one fraud case to another Bravo fraud case, because Wendy isn't the only one being accused of fraud here, because another Bravo star was actually convicted of fraud this week and is going to jail, and that is Steve McBee Sr. from McBee Dynasty. Again, and I cannot stress this enough, if you guys have not watched the McBee Dynasty, head over to Peacock and binge both seasons, because it is one of the best new shows on Bravo, hands down. And it's not only because it is giving the drama, because we have yet another fraud case. I do love the family dynamics. It's a good show even without this legal drama. But this legal drama is going to play a major part in season 3, because along with this news, we also got the update that Bravo did renew it for season 3, and cameras picked back up just in time to cover this sentencing. People reported McBee Dynasty patriarch Steve McBee sentenced to 24 months in prison and to pay $4 million in crop insurance fraud case. So here's what you need to know. Stephen McBee Sr. has been sentenced to 24 months in prison in order to pay $4 million in restitution in a multi-million-dollar crop insurance fraud case. The October 16th sentencing comes almost 1 year after the McBee Dynasty star pled guilty to 1 count of federal crop insurance fraud in November 2024. The government previously recommended that McBee be sentenced to 41 months in prison and pay $4 million in restitution and a $3.1 million judgment. So he actually got off easy. Just a little bit about the case. McBee pled guilty to 1 count of federal crop insurance fraud in November of 2024. According to a Department of Justice press release, the McBee farming operations owners admitted to making a false report to Rain and Hail, a company reinsured by the Federal Crop Insurance Corporation, and confessed to sending fraudulent documents to Rain and Hail that underreported his total 2018 corn crop by approximately 675,000 bushels and underreported his total 2018 soybean crop by approximately 155,000 bushels. The falsified reports allowed McBee to receive $2.6 million in federal crop insurance benefits, in addition to $552,000 in federal crop insurance premium subsidies. In total, he received $3.1 million in unauthorized benefits per the release. So yet another case of fraud just to get ahead financially. Like, can't these people just do their jobs and make money like a normal person? Why do we have to fraud the government, fraud insurance companies in order to make millions of dollars and then go on reality TV and pretend like nobody is going to find out about it? Like, I don't know. It's one thing to do it to begin with. It's another to then put yourself in the spotlight and have, cameras on you at all times. It probably furthers, these suspicions that people have. So it's just another stupid decision that somebody made. And you know who I feel sorry for? Are Steve's sons. Because if you are watching this show, of course it is a farming show, if you didn't get that already from this news, but they are trying to make money off of this land, off of these crops, off of these businesses that they have formed as a family unit. And they're already scraping by, trying to make ends meet. It's a fairly new farm, fairly new business. The sons are working their ass off to try to be successful, and they are barely making it to begin with. Now they have to pay a $4 million judgment, and I guarantee you that Steve McBee Sr. does not have this money laying around. Therefore, his sons are now on the hook for this. I mean, thank God they have a Bravo show. Not that they're going to make $4 million off of it, but I mean, this is just such a crazy story. I mean, I think this was going on a little bit during season 1. Season 2, Steve McBee Sr. was barely on the show because of all of this going on. I don't think he's going to be a part of season 3, but we are going to be seeing the fallout. We're going to be following, everything that the boys are doing to try to, get this settled. And all I know is that I will be seated. Okay, moving on to yet another legal Bravo update from this week, because I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of headlines coming out about Denise Richards and Aaron Pfeiffer's court dates, because that was this last week, and it ended in a pretty shocking way. During their final court date, Aaron was actually arrested right outside of the courtroom after their court hearing. And it came out recently that he has actually been charged with those claims. Now, at first, I think people were questioning why he was arrested. They were already in court, dealing with what I believe is Denise trying to get a restraining order against him. But it has now come out that he was actually charged with injuring Denise Richards. So apparently there was a warrant out for his arrest for this. And Michael Finley, Aaron's lawyer, previously told TMZ Aaron was not aware of the warrant, and Finley accuses Denise and her legal team of setting him up at Friday's proceedings. The arrest followed a contentious court hearing where Denise and Aaron were fighting over a permanent restraining order she wanted against him. The hearing got heated when Aaron's mother testified she witnessed Denise throwing a can opener at Aaron. She also denied her son ever abused or threatened Denise, something Denise has repeatedly claimed. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I don't think that Aaron's mom is a reliable witness here. Of course, she is going to testify in favor of her own son. But Denise has photo proof of these things happening and very detailed stories about what went on between them. And I think this arrest actually proves that she was not making it up, guys. This really happened. I don't think any of us questioned it whatsoever. Aaron trying to make it seem like none of this ever happened and she was making it all up and crazy is beyond me why anybody would ever believe that. But he actually got arrested. I really hope her restraining order goes through at this point. I think it will. And he's also asking for half of her OnlyFans earnings. Like, sir, please exit the room. This guy, I hope I never hear from or see ever again. He is just, he just rubs me the wrong way. He always has, and he always will. And I really, really wish Denise the best on this legal journey. Okay, so that's it for this week's legal updates. Now let's get into some other headlines that broke this week. And the first is literally breaking my heart. I did not see this coming from a million miles away. But Next Gen NYC stars Ariana and Hudson announced they split. When I saw Ariana's statement posted on Instagram, Ariana Bierman, Kim Zolciak's daughter, if you have not watched Next Gen NYC, once again, head over to Peacock and binge that first season. But they were endgame. I totally thought that they were endgame. They were the cutest couple ever. They've been on and off for maybe, a decade at this point. They were middle school, high school sweethearts. It was so cute. I loved seeing them so much. They moved to New York together, got their own apartment. And when Ariana posted this statement, I could not believe it. She posted on Instagram stories, Hudson and I have decided to go our separate ways. While these things are never easy, we both know it's what's best for us right now. We are so grateful for all the love and support you've shown us over the years. Sometimes life takes you in different directions, and that's okay. Love you all. Then we have Hudson also posting a statement the following day that says, I feel like everyone deserves to hear both sides of our story. I still and always will love Ariana. She's been there for me at times when I couldn't be there for myself. I still have a lot of things I need to heal from and deal with on my own to become the person I truly want to be. I appreciate all the love and support everyone is showing us during this difficult time. Like, why? Why does this have to happen? Why can't they just live happily ever after? I was rooting for them. We were all rooting for them. So what happened? What happened between them in order for them to break up? There are a few rumors going around. One of which, apparently Ariana gave him a marriage ultimatum. I guess she has this rule, or Kim has taught her this rule, that if you are together for over 5 years, you are basically supposed to be proposed to. But they are still so young. I don't think that Ariana was giving him a marriage ultimatum at this point. The other rumor that's going around is that Hudson actually cheated. And if you re-look at their statements, I don't know, guys, this could be true. Although they definitely seem to be, on good terms and somewhat amicable. He does say that he, has some growing up to do and does need to better himself. So that, could mean that he made some sort of mistake that he needs to kind of deal with on his own and, basically grow up from. So I don't know. While this is sad, I am happy because we did get confirmation that they are currently filming Next Gen NYC Season 2, and we are going to see all of this go down on camera. I am so excited, guys. We have been waiting for this update, and it could not come at a better time, though. The time of them announcing their breakup right when cameras are picking back up is a little fishy if you ask me, but we did see some behind the scenes posts of Ariana moving into a new apartment. At first, everybody thought she was moving in with Riley, but apparently they're just going to be down the hall or down the street from each other. So I love to see that. I am so excited to see their friendship blossom. We also got confirmation that the controversial character of Charlie will be returning to season 2 of Next Gen NYC. And while he is probably one of the worst people on Bravo, put him in the same category as Jax Taylor, he does kind of make for good TV. And I really hope that him and Ariana don't end up having any sort of thing, because we do know by the end of last season, he had a crush on her. He talked about hooking up with her. Of course, she wanted no part of it because she was with Hudson. But now that she's not with Hudson, are we going to be seeing an Ariana, Charlie little hookup love affair this season? I do not ship this. Will it make excellent TV? Abso-fucking-lutely. So that's another show we have to look forward to coming up. Another update regarding some Bravo shows that we have coming up has to do with the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Now, if you guys have been listening for the past several weeks, we have all been going on this roller coaster of what is going to be happening for the New Jersey reboot. Who are they going to bring back? Of course, we all thought it was going to be between Melissa and her side of the group and Teresa and her side of the group. And then, there were rumors that Melissa and Joe and Teresa were actually going to be reconciling. Whether that was going to happen, we didn't actually know. But this week, we got an update, and it appears that that reconciliation is surprisingly actually going to happen. According to Us Weekly, Joe Gorga confirmed sister Teresa Giudice reached out for a possible reconciliation. Joe Gorga can confirm that his estranged sister, Teresa Giudice, has reached out amid their ongoing family feud. She did text me. She reached out. Joe51 said during the Tuesday episode of the Eds podcast, she would like to sit down and meet. I've never wanted to argue with her ever. It was not my intention, he added. If I sit down with her and I hear her out, it has to be it has to be very humble. Joe continued, it has to be real. It has to be, I've made mistakes and we can move forward. Eddie Judge then asked Joe if he thinks Teresa reaching out is a calculated move to get back on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Joe sort of dodged the question. Well, no shit, he dodged the question because they are both in on it. I mean, if you have watched these two the past few years, they hate each other's guts. Why now would they choose to reconcile if it weren't for the show? Let's be real. They both need this show. And I know I've been back and forth the last few weeks. Teresa, of course, has been booked and busy with other reality shows and opportunities. I'm sure the Gorgas are doing just fine as well. But let's be real. The New Jersey Housewives was both of their bread and butters. And I don't think either of them really want to give it up. And with Bravo at such a standstill when it comes to casting, I think the only way to move forward at this point is for them to make amends. But I did see a tweet. Somebody's like, okay, so we put New Jersey on pause for 2 years only to get the exact same show back. I do agree with your frustration. However, I think this might be the answer because those were the golden years of New Jersey when it was about family and when they were thick as thieves. And when, we did get to see that family dynamic. That's something that Jersey brings us that not a lot of the other franchises do. So I don't know whether it's for the show, for the cameras or not. I do really hope that it is genuine, and I hope that they can move forward because we've been through so much with this family, right? We've been through the loss of both of their parents. Teresa has gone to jail, gone through a divorce, and they are pretty much the only family that each other has left. And it has been really sad to see their relationship crumble. So if they can come back together and reconcile, I'm honestly here for it. I do think it is a little fishy how Louis is not involved in this whatsoever. We haven't even heard his name involved at all. So I wonder how he feels about this because I do think, of course, this all stemmed from a lot of drama between Joe and Louis. But at the end of the day, I don't wish to see any more of Louis. I don't want to hear from him. So if we are able to see a Joe and Teresa reconciliation that has nothing to do with Louis, I am here for it. And the final story for this week, I just have to talk about this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City because once again, it is firing on all cylinders. I mean, did you guys see that they landed the cover of Us Weekly's Reality Stars of the Year issue? I mean, beyond iconic. But what makes it even more iconic is that they recreated a cover of Vanity Fair with the Desperate Housewives cast from the 2000s with the OGs of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I mean, if this doesn't say that they are the premier franchise, I don't know what does. I mean, comparing them to Desperate Housewives was the blueprint for The Real Housewives. That is actually what inspired the original Orange County franchise when it all began. So the fact that Salt Lake City is now kind of taking that and making it their own and their new legacy, I am so here for it. I mean, think about last week's episode, okay? That was one luncheon that took an entire episode. It reminds me of the golden years of The Real Housewives of New York because usually on The Real Housewives, one episode it could span a week. It could span several days. We're jumping from here to there to, all of these different events and places that housewives go. But I remember OG Real Housewives of New York, we could get maybe one episode could span 4 hours because of how much content these women would give us in that span of time. While Luann and Dorinda were fighting over here, we have Bethany Ramona fighting over here, and it's all happening at once. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was giving us that this week, and I loved every second. We have Angie and Lisa going off about who pays for what, Angie throwing her Amex black cards, first black card, second black card, third black card, Prada Centurion bracelet black card. I mean, it was amazing. And then Lisa saying, you actually don't live in the most prestigious zip code because it goes this, and then this. And it just reminds me of why I love Housewives. I mean, talking about what is the richest zip code in your city, that's classic Housewives. Then we have Angie with the one-liners. Once again, I'm going to pull your face back further than it has been pulled from your facelift. You look like you've been in a wind tunnel. I mean, I know I've accused Angie of potentially rehearsing these things beforehand. Guys, I don't think that was rehearsed one bit. I think she just pulled it out of her back pocket. I think that's what makes her a fabulous housewife either. I am interested to hear whose side you guys are on, Angie versus Lisa. I think that this is going to go down as one of the most epic feuds in Real Housewives history. And I'm not on team either one because I love them both. I'm living for this feud. I'm living for everything that they're saying to each other, doing to each other. Do they go low? A little bit, but do I love to watch it? Absolutely. And then Brittany Bateman, boy, is she one of the best castings we've seen in a while. She is absolutely unhinged. And when she called Angie out, she's like, oh, is your house on the market? Oh, pulls up Zillow. Oh, it's priced a little high. 200 days. It's been on for 200 days. I mean, Like, isn't Brittany all of us, like going on Zillow and just basically judging what our friends' homes are listed for? It's giving everything. And then we have the soup man being brought up, which I feel like everybody's really skated past. We have not discussed who the soup man is, who it could even be. And we watch the ladies one by one getting angry and exiting through these individual psychic readings, which was just cinema. I mean, you can't make this shit up. This needs to be like a play put on Broadway. And then to top it all off, the psychic then predicts some sort of horse injury having to do with Angie, only for the toy horse that was returned to Angie's, that was Electra's, to break at the end of the episode. Like, it was chaos in the absolute best way. The best feuds, the best one-liners, the best storytelling that you could not write. You cannot write this shit. It is made up in real time. These women are brilliant, and I love to watch them every single week. They deserved that Us Weekly cover, hands down. So that's it for this week's updates. Again, a lot of legal updates, some Real Housewives news, and some sad breakup news that I'm honestly still not over. I do hope for a reconciliation, though, between Ariana and Hudson. So we will see where that goes and how that plays out on Next Gen NYC Season 2. We also have McBee Season 3 to look forward to, and so much more. Of course, Bravo never fails to deliver, and we are just weeks away from BravoCon, guys. I am so excited. I'm getting all my outfits ready, securing all of our travel plans. If you guys are going to be there, let me know in the comments. Shoot me a DM at Bravo Breaking News. I would love to meet up, and I'll be back next week with some more breaking headlines. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave us a review, drop us a rating, and thanks for tuning in.